Hey there YouTube, this is KRSuper87 again. It's been a while since I did an update, so I felt like I should do an update of a deck I haven't actually done a video in a while, because it's been changed quite a bit since the last time. I'm doing my Worm deck again. And I'll go through specifically all the worms, what they do, in case you don't know, because a lot of people don't know what the worms do. They're very obscure. Start off with the monsters. We start off with 3 copies of Worm Xex, and then 3 copies of Worm Yagan. And this is kind of your base engine for the deck. Is that X is an 1800, level 4, and then Yagan's is a level 4, 1800 defense. And that's kind of like, he'll always be an attack, and he'll always be a defender. But X, when X is summoned, you send one worm, one of your worms from your deck to your graveyard, and that's usually going to be Yagan. And then it also can't be destroyed by battle if you have a face-up Yagan, although you won't see that as often as you'd like. And then Yagan has 2 effects. Is one, when it's in the graveyard, and the only monster you control is Worm X, you can special summon it face down, and then it'll be banished if it's removed from the field afterwards. And then when it's flipped face up, you return one of your opponent's monsters to their hand. And usually with Exceeds and the occasional Synchro running about, and the occasional Fusion, that's a nice plus for you. I mean, if anything, it can disrupt a play by bouncing a card, and then back to their hand so they can't play it again that turn. But that's your main engine. And then 2 Worm Cartaros, which is a flip effect. It's a 1200 and a very meager defense. 1200 attack and 500 defense, but also level 4, and it's a flip effect, and when it's flipped, it's basically Worm Reinforcement of the Army. You get a level 4 lower worm from your deck to your hand. That's usually going to be X, but on occasion I've got other Cartaroses and other Yagans, just for usually for XYZ plays, and just if I run out of targets. 1 Worm King. And specifically, he can be tributed with 1 tribute, because he's level 8, and he's 2700 attack. He can be tributed by 1 tribute by tributing a worm monster, and he comes out and face-up attack. And his effect is, you can tribute a worm monster to destroy 1 card your opponent controls. It basically has Gravekeeper's Descendants effect, but I mean, it's a lot harder to use on its own. But one of the reasons you use Worm King is that W Nebula Meteorite, which is the worm trap card, its last effect summons a level 7 or higher light reptile, this is that target for the deck. I run 3 Thunder Kings. Not so helpful as they used to be, but still very helpful. They can still stop a lot. They can still stop a lot of my bad matchups, and then I could always tribute it to destroy special summons. So I still have that. And then my last monster, 1 Tech Wind-Up Rabbit, and it's actually been working very well. One of the weaknesses of worms is that sometimes if your opponent will be able to keep your monsters off the field, and I have no monster presence, which is one of the important things of the deck, is that I need to keep with my low monster count. My worms are my beaters, and I need to keep them on the field for as long as possible. So a Wind-Up Rabbit was one of my reasons, one of my techs, because it's just I can summon it, and then keep banishing it off of anything, and then nothing can touch it, save for a couple cards, save for a warning on summon, or if your opponent's going to do shenanigans on your turn, a Veiler on your turn. Not much else beyond that. Onto the spells, we have 3 Pot of Duality. I don't special summon much in this deck, so searching for my important cards is always important. And I have 3 MST. I don't run heavy in this deck because it's a heavy trap deck, so 3 MST is important. Although someone suggested on another Worm player suggested that I might try 3 Forbidden Lance instead of MST, and I might try that. just because it would stop a lot of the things I would need MST for, as well as be able to reduce opponent's monster's attack, which is a very big problem for worms, because my biggest monster is Worm King, which is hard to get out, and then my next one is my Thunder King Rai-Ohs and my Worm X, which are 18, which X is 18 and Rai-Oh is 1900. So if my opponent summons a big monster, I'm gonna have to use a trap on it or lose. So it would help to have those. And then I have one book, because book is really good. One Monster Reborn, and then one Darkhold. And then onto the traps, which is the biggest portion of the deck. We have 3 W Nebula Meteorites, which is the Worm Trap card, and one of the most powerful cards in the deck. Now, W Nebula, when you activate it, what it immediately does is it flips all face-down monsters, yours and your opponent's, on the field face-up, which is usually which my usual target is Worm Yagan. So I'll flip a Worm Yagan up, Yagan will bounce a card, and then that'll be that. And then this goes to the graveyard, and then during the end phase, I do the end phase resolution of this card, and what it does is that it flips all light reptile monsters you control face down. You draw one card for each monster flip face down, and then you special summon one level 7 or higher light reptile monster, which is my Worm King, like I said. And W Nebula makes a huge shift in, as long as you have Worm King in your deck. I mean, it'll make a very large shift in advantage, because I could be sitting on a Yagan, and then I flip W Worm Meteorite when my opponent summons a monster, so it bounces back to their hand, stopping them. And then I draw a card replacing W Nebula Meteorite, and then I +1 off of Worm King as he is special summoned. And then it resets my Yagan as well, so I can use it again. So it's an important card to have. I have 2 Solemn Warning. And instead of Starlight Road, which a lot of people run, I'm running Dark Bribe. There's just not enough that I feel Starlight Road will stop, and I'd rather be able to hit other things, because there are important spells and traps that my opponent will run that I will need to stop as well. And the draw is, I think the draw is can be canceled out if I hit the right cards. It's like, yeah, if you play your heavy and I Dark Bribe it, then I'm cool with you getting your 1 card back. But if you play, even if you play something like Miracle Fusion, I'm not going to let you get a 0 and ruin me, so I'm going to negate that too. I have 2 Bottomless Trap Hole, 2 Torrential Tribute. At first I wasn't going to run Torrential Tribute, but with a lot of times you will be sitting on no monsters due to drawing, or just because your monsters are weak. So it'll be nice to clear it out and then reinforce your field back again. 2 Vanity Emptiness, and if you don't know what Vanity's Emptiness does, it's neither player can special summon monsters, and then destroy it when a card is sent from the deck or the field to my graveyard. So basically, it's a pseudo roll oppression that I can play Worm X and then get rid of it by just sending a Yaga to the graveyard, and your opponent will just have to find a way to destroy one of your cards to get rid of it. But it's like, play Monster Reborn, flip this, there, you did a 1-for-1, and then any other ways that your opponent has to do to get rid of it, that'll be your pluses. 2-Dimensional Prison, 1 Fiendish Chain. I want more, but I only got 1 for now. I'm sure their price will keep reducing and their value will keep reducing as people buy more and more battle packs, so we'll see. Then 1 Mirror Force and 1 Solemn Judgment. Then moving on to the extra deck, we have 2 Maestro, the Symphony de Jin, 1 Gem Knight Pearl, 2 Utopia, and 1 number C39 Utopia Ray. Mostly, I mean, a lot of people run it specifically to take opponent's Utopias and stick this on them, but I've had plenty of times where I've made Utopias and then run out of materials, so it'd be nice, so it's just a nice backup, and I've got the extra deck space for it. I really do. 1 Photon Papillary Operative, and 1 Wind-Up Zen Master. Basically, just the whole array of rank 4s currently available to us. That's what I'm running. 1 Worm 0, mostly just because. But if I ever encounter another Worm deck or someone running Fusion Gate, I can make it. And I can make it off of Fusion Gate, or I can eat my opponent's worms with a Super Poly. But mostly just kind of for fun. 1 Chimera Tech, I side Cyber Dragon. And then 1 Absolute Zero, 1 Shining, because I side Super Poly for Heroes, which is an annoying matchup for me. And then to my side deck, 2 Cyber Dragons. Like I said, it's it's mainly for machine decks is what you use it for, but I use it more because it's just a big monster, and it's just like it kind of breaches that attack barrier I can't get over, as well as eat Zen mains and the other wind-ups. So, and everyone's making Zen mains these days. 2 DD Crow, 2 Fossil Dyna, just to add on to the Vanity's Emptiness against special summon decks. 1 Super Poly, like I said, Super Poly versus Heroes. 2 Prohibition. I personally like Prohibition, and just like it when there are specific things I need to stop, it's just a nice extra boost I can give myself. 2 Gozen Match, which puts in tons of work against the decks I would side it in against. I mean, I run all lights. I have Exceeds that are lights, so I can get away with it. 2 Dust Tornado, just extra ST hate for anything I need it for. And then 2 Shadow-Imprisoning Mirror. Get mostly against Detectors, but any other main dark deck I can put that in and stop with. So that's my updated Worm deck. Let me know what you guys think. If I can get Forbidden Lances, I'm going to try those over the MSTs, like I said, and I'll let you know how that goes. Super 87 out.